Right now, some of the largest consulting firms on the planet are racing to certify their people on one specific AI system. Accenture has committed to 50,000 certified professionals, PwC 30,000, Deloitte and KPMG 15,000 each. Cognizant, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, the list keeps going and the numbers keep having 4 and 5 digits. Not on cloud computing, not on data science, on Claude. The credential they're chasing is Anthropic's Claude certification program. It launched in March of 2026 with a single architect exam, and in July it exploded into 4 exams across 3 roles. Since launch, more than 36,000 people have already been certified across more than 1,300 organizations. And here's the thing, the exams are open to far more people than the headlines suggest, and the best preparation material is completely free. In this video, I'll walk you through all 4 certifications, what each one tests, what it costs, how the exams actually work, what the questions feel like, and exactly how to register. By the end, you'll know precisely which exam fits your role. And this video is the front door to a full series, 1 deep dive per exam that takes you from 0 to certified. Let's draw the map. Chapter 2, what this program actually is, because there's a genuine source of confusion here, and clearing it up first will save you from putting the wrong thing on your resume. Anthropic runs 2 very different things that both sound like certification. The first is Anthropic Academy, free, self-paced online courses. Finish one and you get a completion badge. Useful learning, 0 verification. Anyone can click through it on a Sunday afternoon. The second is the Claude certification program, and this is a different animal entirely. These are supervised, identity-verified exams delivered through Pearson VUE, the same infrastructure that runs professional licensure exams worldwide. You sit under a proctor, online or at a test center. Pass and you receive a digital badge through Credly that anyone can verify with a click. That distinction is the whole value. A completion badge says you watched something. A proctored credential says you demonstrated something under supervision with your identity checked. It's the difference between a gym membership and a race time. And it's why these credentials carry weight in hiring and in partner standing. They were designed by subject matter experts, including Anthropic's own applied AI teams, to reflect the actual work each role does. When this series says certification, we mean the proctored kind. That's the one employers and clients can trust, and it's the one we're going to earn. Chapter 3, the 4 credentials. Here's a subtlety that trips people up. This is not one ladder with 4 rungs, it's 3 roles and one of them has 2 tiers. Think of it as a map of who does what when a company puts Claude to work. Someone uses it, someone builds with it, and someone designs the whole system. First, the Claude Certified Associate Foundations level, $99, 60 questions. This one is for people who use Claude itself, not the API. Consultants, project leads, analysts, operations, marketing, anyone whose daily work runs through the Claude interface. It tests structured prompting, judging output quality, picking the right model and feature, configuring projects, and using AI responsibly inside an organization. No code anywhere on the exam. Choose this if your value comes from putting Claude to work in business tasks, and from knowing when its output can be trusted. Second, the Claude Certified Developer Foundations level, $125 and a slightly shorter paper at just over 50 questions. This is the hands-on builder credential, the Claude API, tool use, agents, building and shipping production applications. Anthropic recommends a few years of software engineering experience and real hands-on time with Claude or a comparable system, with Python or TypeScript in your toolkit. Choose this if you write the code that calls the model and you want the portable proof. And third, the Architect track in 2 tiers. Architect Foundations, $125, 60 questions, is for people who design Claude solutions end-to-end, agentic architectures, tool design, evaluation, cost, and safety. It's famously scenario-based, built around realistic customer situations, and we'll dig into exactly what that means in its own video. Choose it if your job is deciding how the system should work, rather than typing every line yourself. Architect Professional, $175, and the longest paper of the 4 is the capstone. It takes everything in Foundations and adds what senior people actually get paid for, governance, stakeholder communication, evaluation at scale, and owning a solution across its whole life, from discovery through production and iteration. It's aimed at senior and principal architects, especially in consulting, where the credential also carries partner program weight. 4 exams, 3 roles, 1 map, and you only need the piece of it that matches your work. Chapter 4, 1 exam engine. Here's some genuinely good design. All 4 exams run on identical mechanics. Learn the machine once, and the only thing that changes between exams is the content. Every exam gives you 2 hours, 120 minutes on the clock. Every exam scores on a scale from 100 to 1000, and every exam passes at 720. Questions are multiple choice and multiple response, and when a question needs more than one answer, it tells you exactly how many to pick. No trick counting. Your score report shows pass or fail, your scaled score, and your percent correct in every domain, so even a failed attempt hands you a study map. The credential stays valid for 12 months, and here's a detail almost nobody mentions. Renewing on time is free through a lighter, non-proctored assessment on the Partner Academy. Let it lapse, and you're back to the full exam at full price. If you fail, you can retake after a 14-day wait, then 30, then 90, up to 4 attempts in a rolling year. So the worst case is a delay, not a dead end. And if something goes wrong with your result or the process, there's a formal appeal window through Pearson VUE support, though the exam content and the passing bar itself are not appealable. This is professional certification infrastructure, run properly. Chapter 5, what the questions feel like. Before you choose an exam, you should know what these papers actually ask, because it's not trivia. Across all 4 exams, the house style is the same. A realistic workplace scenario, a specific symptom or decision, and 4 answers that all sound reasonable. The wrong answers aren't random, they are the plausible mistakes people actually make. Let me show you one flavor per role. These are my own illustrative questions, not real exam content, but they're true to the style the official guides publish. Associate flavor. A colleague wants to paste a client's full contract into a chat window to summarize it before a meeting in 10 minutes. What should they do first? The tempting answer is just be quick and delete the chat afterwards. The scoring answer is check whether the document contains confidential or personal data and whether your organization's AI policy approves this tool for that data class. Not because the summary wouldn't be good, but because judgment about data comes before convenience. That's the associate exam in one question. It tests the professional, not the prompt. Developer flavor. Your application sends the same long company handbook as context with thousands of requests a day, and your costs are climbing. What's the first optimization to reach for? The distractors will offer a smaller model, shorter answers, or fewer requests. The scoring answer is the mechanism built precisely for repeated identical context, caching it so you stop paying full price to resend the same tokens. The developer exam lives here, knowing which platform capability exists for which cost and latency problem. Architect flavor. A support agent with a dozen tools keeps calling the wrong one for refund requests. The tempting answers are big: add a routing model, consolidate tools, retrain something. The scoring answer is almost embarrassingly small. Improve the tool descriptions first because the model chooses tools by reading them. That's the architect mindset the exam rewards, and its professional tier then asks who signs off, how you evaluate it, and how it survives 2 years of change. If one of those 3 questions made you sit up, you've probably just found your exam. Chapter 6, 4 myths busted. The internet has had a couple of weeks to get this program wrong, and it has not wasted them. Let's fix the record. Myth 1, you need to take the exams in order. False. There are no mandatory prerequisites anywhere in the program. If Architect Professional matches your job today, you can sit Architect Professional today. The recommended experience is recommended, not required, and the credential is awarded on exam performance alone. Myth 2, the associate exam is the easy one. Also false. It's not a junior tier, it's a different role. It leans hard into responsible use, governance, and output evaluation, exactly the areas that hands-on developers tend to understudy. Plenty of engineers would score worse on associate than on developer. Myth 3, certifications belong to your company. No, the credential is yours, attached to your name, and it travels with you when you change jobs. What companies get is partner program standing based on how many certified people they employ, which, incidentally, is why so many firms are paying for their employees' exams right now. And myth 4, those free academy completion badges are the certification. We covered this, but it bears repeating because there are viral posts claiming you can collect a dozen Claude certifications in a weekend. You can collect completion badges in a weekend. The proctored credential is the one that counts, and there are only 4 of those. Chapter 7, How to Register, Step by Step. This is the part where most write-ups go vague, so let's be precise about the path from watching this video to sitting in the exam chair. Step 1, the exams are offered to members of the Claude Partner Network, and joining starts free at the registered level. A company signs up at the partners page on Claude's website. If you work at a consultancy or an agency, check first, because your employer may already be a member, and at the big firms, they'll often pay your exam fee too. Step 2, create your account on the Anthropic Partner Academy. That's the free training platform, and it's where certification registration begins. Step 3, find your exam certification page, review the official exam guide, and follow the scheduling process through to Pearson VUE, where you pick online proctoring or a physical test center, choose a slot, and pay the exam fee. While we're being precise, let's total the real investment. The exam fee is the only mandatory cost, $99 to $175 depending on the exam. Training costs nothing because the official courses and exam guides are free. The real currency is time. Candidates commonly report somewhere between 15 and 40 focused hours for a foundations exam, depending on how much hands-on experience they bring. That's a few disciplined weeks, not a semester. One honest caveat, this program is brand new, and access rules have already shifted once since March. Before you plan around anything, including anything in this video, download the current exam guide for your exam and skim the registration section. It's a short document, it's free, and it is the single source of truth. I'll keep a dated note in the description confirming when these details were last verified. Chapter 8, Which exam is yours? Forget job titles for a second and answer one question. When Claude produces value at your work, what did you personally do to make that happen? If your answer is, I wrote the prompt, I judged the output, I built the project, I got my team using it, you're the associate. If your answer is, I wrote the code that calls the model, wired up the tools, and shipped the feature, you're the developer. If your answer is, I decided how the whole system should work, which model goes where, how agents coordinate, and how we know it's safe and correct, that's architect foundations. And if on top of that you own the conversation with leadership, the governance model, and the system's entire life from discovery to production, that's architect professional. 3 quick portraits to make it concrete. A management consultant who builds Claude projects for every client engagement and coaches the team on prompting, associate without hesitation. A backend engineer who just shipped a support assistant on the API with tool calls and structured outputs. Developer, and the exam will feel like reviewing your own work. A tech lead who spent last quarter deciding between a single agent and a coordinator with sub-agents, arguing about evaluation and cost. Architect foundations now, professional once they own the governance conversation too. 2 pragmatic tiebreakers. If you're an individual contributor who builds things and you can only justify one exam, the developer credential is arguably the strongest signal per dollar right now. And if you're at a partner firm, ask your manager which certifications count toward your company's partner tier before you choose, because that answer sometimes makes the decision for you. Chapter 9, The Free Study Stack. Here's the part I love about this program. The exam fees are real, but the preparation doesn't have to cost a cent, and the best material is the official material. 3 layers, all free. Layer 1, the exam guide, 1 per exam. This little document is criminally underused. It lists every domain, its exact weight on the paper, and the specific objectives underneath, plus sample questions in the real house style. If an objective mentions a feature and you can't explain it, you've just found a study topic. The guide literally hands you the syllabus. Layer 2, Anthropic Academy, the free course platform, with self-paced courses that map onto the exam content, from everyday Claude use up through the API and agent design. Layer 3, the official documentation and Anthropic's published engineering guidance, which is where the architect-level thinking lives. And one warning while we're here, you will find exam dumps for sale, sites promising real questions and answers. Skip them. Not just because using them violates the exam agreement and risks the credential you're paying for, but because they're frequently wrong, and memorizing wrong answers is worse than studying nothing. The blueprint is public, the training is free, and these are foundations-level exams. You genuinely don't need to cheat at this. Chapter 10, The Road Ahead. The official material tells you what to know, but not always how to understand it. That gap is exactly why this series exists, so here's the plan. Next video, the associate exam, the full deep dive, every one of its 7 domains taught properly, plus a week-by-week study plan built entirely from free official resources. After that, the developer exam, then architect foundations, including all 6 of its famous scenarios. Then architect professional to top out the program. 1 video per exam, each one built to be the only prep video you need. Fair warning, and I'd rather say this than sell you a fantasy. I'm an independent educator, not affiliated with Anthropic, and no honest video can guarantee you a pass on a proctored exam. What I can guarantee is that if you can genuinely do everything in each exam's blueprint, you belong in that exam room, and this series is built to get you exactly there, without charging you for it. The AI certification market right now looks the way cloud certification looked in its earliest days, brand new, wide open, and about to matter a great deal. The people who moved early on those credentials rode that wave for a decade. This is that moment again, and now you have the map. If this cleared things up, a like genuinely helps more people find the series, and subscribing means your exam's deep dive lands in your feed the moment it's ready. The associate video is next. We're building AI up from the ground, 1 blueprint at a time. I'll see you in the next one.